All right, everyone. Welcome to Margin Theory, where we bring you stories from CEOs and business owners about how they make sense of business and life and everything in between. Today, I have a special guest with us. Max Kunik is co-founder of Wingman Kitchens, which is built for people aiming to grow their food business in a feasible way so they don't have to buy all the equipment up front. Max, welcome to the show. Really glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
All right, so let's start from the beginning. Tell me a little bit about your story. How'd you get into what you're doing, and what does Wingman Kitchens actually do?
Yeah, the story is I have a love for food, and that's kind of been the common denominator in everything that I've done in my professional world and what I really like to do in my personal world. And so growing up, my family was in the food business, and I had uncles that were started restaurants, and I wasn't a huge foodie, but as I got older, I developed a real taste for all kinds of food. And in college was the founder of a group that took people to food trucks all across Austin, and it was all just about exploring local food. And that's kind of where I fell in love with the local Austin food scene.
Mm-hmm.
And worked for Austin Restaurant Week, worked for Favor, running their operations, doing food deliveries, and then worked for the Austin Food and Wine Alliance, putting together all the food events for them. And so, like, you can kind of hear that food is kind of the foundation of everything for me.
Yep.
And I love being able to work with food entrepreneurs because they're dreamers and artists, and I get to taste their food every once in a while. But what I kept hearing over the years of as I started a dinner club and as I was working
Ooh, dinner club.
in consumer packaged goods for Jaime Salsa, and then running a food truck event with another guy, the same thing was being said, which is it's really expensive to start these things, and there's not space to do it. And so you hear it enough times from whether it's a caterer or a meal prep company or someone that's making a sauce or spice, you hear it, and there has to be a business model behind it. And so I started researching what's around, and commissary shared kitchen spaces is kind of what I found to be what the solution to the problem was. And at the time, Austin had a couple. They just had different models on how they were pricing things, and which is where I thought we could change stuff. And so that's really where it started. Is I kept hearing the same thing over and over again. Graduated from St. Edward's with an entrepreneurship degree, really wanted to utilize that for this use case,
Yeah.
and had a bunch of people that were interested in lining up so that on day one of Wingman Kitchen's opening, we had a really good core of people that were using the
Wow.
kitchen.
Wow. Elaborate more on this day one and stuff. Like, what did the when you have when you made all these invites, what did the early days actually look like?
Yeah, so the whole reason why it's so hard to make it in food and beverage is because it's so expensive to build these places, and it takes so much time to go and do the lease agreements and do the improvements to the space or do a full build out. And so we had to raise some money back in 2018 in order to do it, and started construction February 2019. And I had no idea about anything construction wise because it's not my lane. But now I know a lot more, and it was supposed to be a 3 month project. It took 6.5 months, which ended up being a pro for us because it allowed us to go and talk to a bunch of different people to say, "Hey, we're opening this.
Yeah.
Will you sign up to use our space when we open?" And obviously,
Yep.
some people the lead time was too long and they didn't sign up, but we had about six people that transferred from a different kitchen that was closing because their air conditioning unit went out, and
Yep.
the landlord wasn't going to replace it. So they transferred over to us, and I met my business partner because he was in that kitchen, and he had been in six kitchens in 5 years, which a kitchen's just like your home if you're a food business, and moving stinks.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so you just don't want to be transitioning that often and pushing permits to each different location. And yeah, so we did the TI struggles, the tenant improvement struggles, and the dealing with all kinds of project folks that there's all kinds of additional costs to changing the floor, changing whatever, because they say that's what the best thing is. It's going to last the longest, and yeah, all of a sudden the $300,000 project is $400,000, and you're just trying to open. And that's kind of what
Oh
we
yeah.
do to try and alleviate what other people would probably be doing anyway, is just building that space and then allowing everyone else to use it.
Yeah, man, I love that. I understand how much it costs to create a unit. Right now we're expanding guest house to Dallas, Houston, New York, and what was the other one? Denver as well right now. So we're doing a bunch of build outs. So it's like so much work and it's a lot of time to build all these places and get them all set up. So I totally understand where you're coming from. And I'm not even from construction either. So it's like, like I had construction clients, but it's just like I totally get it, man. But okay, so what was the first real milestone that made it feel like, a business in the early days?
Yeah, in the early days, the first time that we actually had cash coming into the account from clients, that's when it started feeling real.
Hmm.
And it just so happened that day minus one of us being open, we got reached out to by a production company that wanted to do a commercial shoot. And
Ooh, okay.
everything's brand new in the kitchen. They said we're not even going to really use cooking equipment. We just need it to look pretty in the background as we're shooting in the kitchen. So they basically paid us what would have been 2 months rent
Wow.
at the time.
Wow.
And right then
That's
is
cool.
really when it started feeling real for me. It's like, okay, one, we're on to something. This is great. Like we're already a head start above our projections because we have this. And so they came in, and then the next day we had six six different companies move in. With we had a cupcake company, we had a sauce and spice company, we had an office catering company, and then we had a meal prep company move in like day one. And so just those back-to-back days is really what was the biggest milestone to start. Just like seeing the cash actually come into account, and then seeing people actually use the kitchen because you have a dream,
Yep.
and when that dream becomes a reality on how you see people using it and then they actually use it, that's a pretty big and pretty cool life moment.
Wow. So you've been at it for has it been 6 years now at Wingman Kitchens?
In August it'll be 7 years.
Oh wow. So August will be 7 years. And at those times were like during the first year since inception or something. So it's been like 5 more years and you guys been still doing this. Fast forward to today, how's everything? And I don't, we're not going to go too deep in this because we're going to go through some other questions, but maybe we'll come back and at the end. But like fast forward to today, like now you guys are expanding to Houston and you guys got several, like how is it today? What's the current situation?
Yeah, Austin is our flagship location. It's still doing it. I mean, it started off great and it's been doing great since then. Um, And then we've opened up 3 locations in Houston, which are all doing pretty good. They're just newer, so it takes a bit more time, and the Houston market's different, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. And then we opened up our newest location in San Antonio in October. And San
Ooh.
Antonio's been a good market for us so far, and we're just kind of scratching the surface there.
Wow, wow, this is awesome. That's great, man. That's great. I'm super excited for you too. San Antonio location too. Like just hitting another market is huge. Okay. All right, so I don't want to just talk about business today, like the real stories within you, Max. So let me ask you this now. It's been 6 years, you've been building Wingman Kitchens. What actually grounds you? Like when things get hard and the answers aren't obvious, what keeps you going?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things, and it's all people for me. Um, Whether it's my partners, I have a partner in Houston, and then a couple of years ago we had a partner in San Antonio, or in Houston. My original partner moved to San Antonio last year to open our location there.
Hmm.
So it's really just times get hard, and just having a sounding board with the two of them is incredibly helpful for all of us, and we definitely lean on each other for that. And then family and friends. It's just a matter of I've built a really great core and foundation of family and friends. And every time things get hard, it's reaching out to them, maybe not going deep into what's going on, but just looking for that distraction, just going out and grabbing a drink or going out and eating food and
Resetting.
just
Yep.
enjoying each other's company and getting out of the spiral mindset of, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever, all whatever, whatever. There's other things going on in life. So if you have, for me, having that foundation of friends and family and just letting them be a distraction for me sometimes, and then they can be a sounding board too. That's really the grounding stuff for me.
That's awesome. So what I like to do is I like to go for walks and then I'll just call, I'll call a family member and just on the phone. It's super grounding. And you could talk through some things and learn more about them and stuff. So like yeah. So, okay. Other than that, like you've always had family, I'm assuming, throughout your life and that helped, be that sounding board. But what was a season of life that tested you the most, and then how did you come through it? Or was it actually the past 5, 6 years?
Yeah, I'd say the past 5 to 6 years. If you put the whole time frame in, definitely it was that.
Hmm.
But really, there was a one like 6 month period that was super stressful for the business, and which made it super stressful for me. We had some landlord issues in our first location in Houston, and uh, I can only talk about it so much,
Yeah.
just because things got settled. And but yeah, it was super stressful. The air conditioning went out. It was in our lease agreement that they were going to fix it. Houston's super hot. And when it's 108 degrees in the kitchen, nobody's going to use it, and people are going to ask for their money back. And
Hmm.
after thousands and thousands of dollars in legal fees, we got out of there. But just going back and forth and spending a ton of money on it, and our at the core of our missions, we care about the people that we're working with, and having a good relationship with everyone that we're working with is really important. So when someone all of a sudden you can't trust someone, especially in a landlord, it's pretty crucial, and it put a lot of strain on my personal life and the business for 6 plus months because we were just at a standstill, bleeding cash and not getting what we needed out of a space that could have been great.
Wow. Wow. That's huge. 100, yeah, no one's gonna want to cook in 108-degree weather. That's insane.
No.
That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, I don't blame you for that. Okay. All right, so let's talk about kind of like the activities that you do outside, work and stuff. Like how do you take care of yourself? Like do you work out or you like watch what you eat? I'm assuming that you are an eater and I'm an eater too. I absolutely love going out to eat. And I work in food and beverage as well. So but you always have like that extra 10 pounds sometimes when you go out all the time and you get that like what do they call it in college? Like you get the
Freshman 15.
the freshman 15 or anything, but do you like what do you do like to keep you sharp and routines? Do you like go out for walks or what's that side look like?
Yeah, so I work on what I like to call a net zero diet. I'm not. I'd love to say that I'm trying to do gains and stuff and get the six pack, but my reality is that I like to eat out too much, and so I just try and balance my eating out with going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, just doing
Ooh,
HIIT
4 to 5
classes.
times a week. Wow.
That's ideal. when on a trip. It's not focusing as much on that. But when I'm back in town, it's usually going to the gym and having that routine. I like to start my day doing it because in the afternoon, you just don't know what's happening. But for me in the morning, nobody's going to bother me at 6 a.m. And so just hitting the gym just kind of balances out for me. And doing that, getting a good sweat, making sure the muscles are working, a little stretch sesh, and that's how I'll start my day. Just going to the gym, coming back home, showering, and then getting the day started.
Nice. You do it first thing in the day.
Yes.
Is that when you're, because I used to do it first thing in the day and then I started doing it later in the day and I keep switching it up, but I don't know like what the best thing for me is. And have you found that out for you or like, because like I always thought like starting first in the day, I would like, I guess I wouldn't have as much energy throughout the day. But then again, I don't know. I haven't done it first thing in the day in a long time. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's not really the energy factor is not a thing for me. It's is my body as awake as it would be later in the day? No. But the energy, it actually gets my blood flowing and a good sweat gives me a little bit more energy to start the day rather than rolling
Ooh,
out of bed and then just starting on
ooh,
my computer or going, for some people it's coffee. For me, it's just like making a little breakfast and then watching
ooh.
TV. But I like going to the gym, first of all, in the morning because, again, in the afternoon, things can happen and people will call, and then I'll have to bail on the gym, which I don't like doing. And it just seems like things are more in flux in the afternoons. And then in the mornings, nobody's hitting me up. So I just know that I can be super consistent all the time in the morning rather than an afternoon where things can pop up or I really want to grab a happy hour meeting. Nobody's trying to do even a coffee meeting at 6 a.m., right? And so that's the factor there is that if I do it early in the morning, I know that there's nothing getting in the way of the workout. If I do it in the afternoon, there's like an 80% chance that I'm going, but then there's the 20% chance that I have to cancel it because there's something else that pops up that would rather do.
Makes
Not
sense. Makes
necessarily it's
sense.
better for me, but I would rather do it.
Do you lift or is it just normally on the treadmill or
Yeah, so doing these like high intensity training workouts, I just go to these classes and they tell me what to do. So it's kind of turn the brain off and let them tell me how to sculpt the body situation. So it's a good mixture. And I go to Athletic Outcomes and which used to be right next door to my house. And so they do like a week of strength training, and then it's a week of agility, and then a week of endurance, and then there's the classes that are a mixture of like not agility, but cardio and strength. And so just kind of mixing it up there and going to the class and they just tell me what to do. That way I'm not going in there by myself with the plan and executing the plan and then as an entrepreneur, as yourself, you dictate it. So you're either motivated or not motivated. So if I had my own workout plan, I can go in there and lift 15-pound weights and be like, all right, yep, we're done. But if I'm in a class, they have all these things and they're pushing you to push your limits, which is what I need in a workout
love it?
environment.
Love it. That's crazy. So they get like it's like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. that you go to these classes?
Yeah, not 5 a.m. I haven't quite made it that early, but 6:30.
Wow, wow. Yeah, and it makes sense because you said the blood flowing thing. Like I'm getting a we're actually getting a dog soon, adopting an older dog. And I usually I wake up at like 5 a.m. and I'll start work, deep work and stuff. But now I'll be starting taking her for walks, so getting the blood flowing, like you said. So I'm sitting here like, wow, I think you're right, completely right on that blood flowing thing. And I think it will probably make a much more productive day because it's just waking up and just getting straight to work on the laptop right away. Just yeah.
Yeah, we both do it. It's just a matter of is it the right thing to do? Like when I wake up, my brain's on and
Mhm.
I'm ready to do work or whatever.
Yep.
But it's like, do I really need to dive in as soon as I wake up? The
Mm-hmm.
answer is no for me. But
Mm-hmm.
I can totally understand, you wake up from a dream and you're like, yes, I need to write this down. I need to get to it. You're
Oh,
motivated.
capture a good idea,
Yeah.
100%, man. All right, so okay, so tell me a little bit about the people outside the business. You mentioned friends and other people that grounded you. Who matters most to you when you close the laptop at the end of the day?
Yeah. It's really, I wouldn't say there's like one person, because it's community for me and it's always been that way. I have like probably 20 to 30 friends that I can call, text, anything at any moment, and they can be there for me, and vice versa at any point of the day. My girlfriend and I just moved in together last month, and
Ooh,
so
congrats.
that's like a was a big life milestone for us. And now it's been a lot of fun for both of us to be done with work and come home and just chat and decompress. And as you're moving for the first month, it's just like organizing everything. But if that's it, she's been my number one right now. But I have my family who we just got home from a trip with, that we went to Panama with my parents and my brother and
Ooh,
his
wow, that
fiance.
sounds like fun.
And so we're tight and we talk daily. Sports is our outlet for me, my brother, and my mom. And then my dad's there to just be a cheerleader in that. He cares more about music, but he can keep up on the sports side. And because I'm in Austin, we have so much family there. And so any Friday night, I'm Jewish, and we do Shabbat dinners probably once a month. And on any given Shabbat dinner Friday night, we'll have 20 plus family members there. And I have cousins that are in town, aunts and uncles, and then three grandmothers that are still around and hanging out. And so it's just balancing all of that, hanging out with them, and being able to talk to them. So to go and answer your question, who is my rock? My rock is the people that I surround myself with rather than just like the one individual person. Because it's always good to just talk to people with a little bit different, maybe not perspectives, but tones and how you interact with them.
Got it, makes sense and stuff. Okay. I know I'm switching from family and then I went from activities to family, but um I want to zoom back in on Wingman Kitchens. So what does it look like at present day? I know you're going to, San Antonio and you got this in the Houston locations. But where you now that you got the San Antonio location, the Houston locations, where are you taking it from here? Like what's the next step?
Yeah, we have a couple things in the works right now, and we're really excited about it. And I think one of the avenues that we're starting to explore is working with community organizations and churches, and
Ooh, okay.
to utilize their kitchens, because there's like a community center that they might have a kitchen that gets utilized once a week, and then the same thing for a church, and they might only use it on Sundays and Wednesdays, but then
Hmm.
they have a really nice kitchen that's not being utilized, and they have other activities that they'd love to fund more, or other things that they'd like to like give money to, or make improvements. And so we think we can add value in there, just managing that space for them and getting them extra revenues that they already have the asset for, and it's not going to take them any more money to do it. So we're excited about that avenue. We're talking to two places right now, because one, it saves us from the burden of having a set rent payment, and two, it allows us to build greater good for their community, and for our community with the food and beverage community. It's all the same. They just need the kitchen and the equipment and a licensed facility to use it. So that's one avenue we're really excited about growth on. And then the other avenue is we're working on we're calling it a CPG hub, and that's going to be a huge facility that has everything you need for consumer packaged goods. So right now in our shared kitchen spaces, they're between 1,000 and 2,500 square feet. So not huge.
Hmm.
When you're a consumer packaged goods company, you tend to need more space as you grow, because
Hmm.
all of a sudden you need more pallets and you need a production line, which either of those will take up our whole kitchen if that's what you're doing. And so we really want to create a facility that has shared cook line space, but it's really catered towards consumer packaged goods companies. So like the 200-gallon kettle or large deck ovens and things of that nature. Then having a shared fill room and then having private production spaces. And the kickers are having incubation in there with people that do package design, with people that do
Hmm.
branding, with people that are experts in manufacturing and ingredient sourcing. And we're trying to do this in San Antonio and team up with people like HEB, and then having a warehousing as well on site. So it can all be in one spot.
Wow.
And
When you bring up the CPG thing, I got a client of mine who actually wholesales and gets people into stores. And
mm,
he's actually got a good he's got a good client base. He's pretty big and stuff, but I don't know if that would because I know you said you're teaming up with HEB, but I don't know if that would be a good intro for you to kind of like maybe even you guys can like figure out ways to like, collaborate. But he's in Austin too.
yeah, I mean, I'd love to connect with them. The CPG world is booming in Austin, and we would love to do this in Austin. Real estate prices are just not economical for this kind of project because we're trying to have rent rates be between $9 and $15 a square foot, plus
Mhm.
plus triple net. But you can't, there's no way we can do that in Austin. But I'd love to meet them, and there's a possibility that we've met in the past because I go to CPG events pretty frequently in town.
Have you heard of Mana Foods Supply?
The name sounds really familiar, but I can't say it. I'm piecing together who's who there though.
Hey, well, yeah. Maybe after the interview, I'll see if I can see if it makes sense and stuff. But yeah, no, love the. I'm always looking to introduce people and stuff, and broaden networks and stuff. But that's very interesting. I didn't know that you were getting into CPG. I thought it was just you know the other like I just didn't know. So that's really good. That's cool.
Thanks. Yeah, and obviously this is a two-way street, so you let me know what you're interested in, who I can introduce you to, and what's helpful for you because you've lived in Austin a while, I've lived in Austin a while. This is the first time we're meeting, um, but I'm sure there's other people that we can connect each other to.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, so cool. So you're running this business, and it means you're making calls with imperfect decision or imperfect information. What's been, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but what's been what's been the hardest decision you had to make? I'm always interested in knowing, the hardest decision that business owners are making because, there's a lot of value and lessons that you've learned. You did bring up the lease thing, in Houston with the landlord and stuff like that was actually some golden stuff right there. So I just want to know if there's any been other hardest decisions or if that's the hardest decision and what did you kind of learn from it?
Yeah, that's the hardest decision, and I'll just speak briefly on that one, and then we can talk about a different one. Uh, but yeah, you're going back and forth for 6 months, just trying to get to a resolution so that you can run your business properly, and knowing how much money to put in and when to pull the plug and how to pull the plug, which route to go to, because legal is always the last thing I want to do, and I'm not an argumentative person. I like to resolve things amicably. It's just how I run my environments. So anytime things get brutal like that, it has to put you and me in a different mindset. And so that was like the hardest decision making process. Like, okay, we need to shut this down. We have 10 companies working in here. where do they go? At our peak there, we had 19 companies, but you lose companies when there's no AC. Um,
Hmm.
so how do you, if we're out of a place to have a lease, where do these people go? And it's our reputation on the line too, uh, deciding how we're gonna keep that, nurture that relationship because we want to keep a good relationship with them rather than saying, "Oh, sorry about you, we're putting you on out on the streets."
Hmm.
So that was super hard on knowing and trying to figure out what the most feasible way to do things, but also um, keeping in mind all the feelings there and the nature of people's businesses in there because I'm not trying to make someone else's business close because of us.
Of course. Of
So
course.
like that was really difficult. And then there's always super difficult decisions and conversations that have to be had when you're running a company like ours because you're dealing with food entrepreneurs that are trying super hard to do what they're trying to do, but maybe they're not doing it. And maybe they can't pay rent. Maybe they have a family issue. Maybe there's exterior things going on that are prohibiting them from their business being successful. But me as a business owner and what we do, we have to hold them
Get
to
paid.
account and to
Yeah.
the agreements that they've signed. And it's like such a hard thing for me because I always want to be I want to give you your money back. Sure, yeah, you have to move because of family. I hear you. Or your business hasn't taken off like you wanted to. I totally get it. But I can't just give money back all the time is kind of where we've gotten to at this point in our business life cycle. And so it's just having the hard conversation with this money is gone for you. We've utilized it, we've counted on it, we've allocated it somewhere else. You're not getting it back. I'm sorry. And that's a conversation that we have, if not monthly, at least every other month. And being the business that we are, we want people to succeed.
Hmm.
But we also need to succeed as a company too. And that's the conversations that we try and maneuver through as an organization.
You said when they want their money back, you collect money up front first, right? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so there's like a security deposit that people pay up front, just like you would if you're renting a house or you're leasing an office. There's that security deposit.
Got it.
And then people select packages, which is the beautiful part about our business is you can change your package from month to month. And so
Mm.
you can pay as little as $140 a month and then up to like $2,400 a month,
Hmm.
all depending on how many hours you're using and what times a day and all that kind of stuff, which you can find on our website. We don't really need to go into that. But
Hmm.
people select a high package thinking, oh, we're going to crush it the first month. And I'm always telling them, start small. And if you go over, there's just an hourly rate. It's fine. But if
Hmm.
you sign an agreement and then your business doesn't even launch because you don't have the capital for it and you didn't allocate the right amount of money, which Jake, welcome to your world. Um, then it's just a conversation that we're going to take the deposit and we are going to ask you for the money for the 3 month agreement that you signed. And
Hmm.
those are the conversations that we have from our side.
Got it. Okay, that just makes sense. That completely makes sense too. And those are kind of hard. Those are really hard conversations, especially from people in food and beverage, because then, there's so much money thrown out there, and it's easy to drop, and the competition is fierce, fierce. So I get it, man. I get it. All right, so I got two more questions for you, Max, and then yeah. So okay, so looking ahead, what are the big goals for the next 12 months for Wingman Kitchens, and then both in business for Wingman's Kitchens, and then in your life as well, personally?
Yeah. For Wingman Kitchen side, in the next 12 months, we really want to have a set location and be announcing the plan for our CPG hub.
Hmm.
We're making really good strides. We're having conversations with San Antonio Economic Development next week with a bunch of key players there, and then next month we have more meetings with state legislatures, senators, and city council folks in San Antonio to really start pushing this initiative forward,
Hmm.
just because it's going to take community drive behind it as well. So
Hmm.
that's the big 12-month goal on the Wingman Kitchen side, and then signing up two community places, either places of faith or community centers where we can get them signed up and we can manage their kitchen. So that's our goal for the next 12 months, not necessarily trying to sign another lease for Wingman Kitchens or go into another market yet. We really want to kind of double down on these two things. So that's the goals for Wingman Kitchens in the next 12 months.
What about personally?
Yes, personally, there's a not so comfortable saying it on a podcast, but there's things that I would like to do with my girlfriend in the next 12 months. Now that we've moved in together, there's some other milestones that we'd like to take. So I'm not gonna put a timeline on it for us, but that's I'm sure, hopefully, if everything goes right for us, there's some milestones that we'd like to hit on that side. And then on the family and friends side, it's always putting people that I love first and hanging out with them and spending as much time with them as I can. And we should be doing a lot of that. We have some travel coming up with different friend groups, different people that I'm pretty excited about. And just spending time with people, trying out new restaurants with folks, and then just going and supporting our clients, which is something on the personal side I get to do is going and trying their food at a farmer's market or going to their pop-up or once they've moved out of our space, they open a restaurant or they open something else, a food truck that I get to take people to, and that's a lot of fun for me on the personal side.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Okay. And then one last question. I think, yeah. So I don't know if you did answer this, but what's been one of the biggest challenges you've been navigating in the business lately as of right now?
Yeah, so over the last, I guess, year and a half now. We were trying to secure a loan, which as a business that was over 6 years old, we thought was going to be easy. And we had done a huge restructuring for our company to have a holding company that then owned all the sub LLCs, which were each location. And that made it, we did that all 2 years ago. And it made it really hard for us to get a loan because it was a new business. And we learned a lot through the process and just navigating on how to get a loan through the SBA and to get the best rates because the only loans we were getting were 12%, and that was not going to happen for us. And so it took us up until last 2 weeks ago to get that loan,
Oh,
and
wow.
that's what we're going to utilize to help with growth with the CPG hub and with some internal initiatives that we're trying to just automate and figure out how we can really accelerate the current business that we have. And yeah, so that was like the biggest navigational thing is figuring out why can't we get this? What organizations can we work with to get us to the finish line? And luckily, the local organization People Fund, I don't know if you've ever worked with them,
Mhm.
but they helped us get to the finish line, and we're definitely thankful for that. So now we can not concentrate on that. We have money in the account and some working capital to really help us get to the next stage that we're going for.
Wow. I love that you brought that loans up because that's a topic I usually speak about. And just curious, I want to learn more about kind of like that process, like, and what you kind of learned because you said that there was so much that you learned. What was like the biggest thing that you learned in navigating that process?
Yeah, well, one, we made a crucial mistake, and we should have changed the Austin LLC and just changed the name of it so it could be the holding company,
Okay.
and then just created a different LLC to make it the Austin uh, sub LLC. and that would have saved us a ton of time. Just because then the banks would have seen book a business for 6 years that has been successful. So that was a huge learning for us.
They asked for financials, right? Were you able to provide them financials?
Yes, but we 100% could provide financials. We have clean books, all the things of that nature. But it was really because the holding company, which is where we need the money to flow into so that we could have money for the sub
Ah,
LLCs and everything else, because it was less than a year old at the time, they
ah,
viewed it as a startup.
ah,
And
yeah.
when, as I'm sure you've seen it, when they view you as a startup brand new, getting money is a lot more difficult.
Hmm.
Whereas if you have years of financials to show that you're making money, it's different. And then getting the right loan officers to fully understand what we're doing. Um, that was another key learning is that a lot of people want to say they want to help in the financial world, and then they go in, you send them 200 documents and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, we looked at this marker and it just doesn't look right." It's like, "Well, you
Hmm.
didn't even look, doesn't sound like you looked at the whole picture and what we're doing here." And
Hmm.
it was really difficult for us to be able to explain a story to them, even with someone that was in that world, explaining it to them to really get the full picture and give us a loan at the time, with
Hmm.
them viewing us as a startup trying to utilize the SBA funding.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense.
Because
I didn't.
it would have been different if we had a real estate component to us, which is hopefully in the future for us. But if we were going to go and get real estate where we're paying for real estate and we can utilize an SBA loan to purchase the real estate and then utilize it for our business, it would have been a little bit easier.
Okay. All right. All right. So Max, before we wrap up, where can people find you, and what are you working on right now that you want people to know about?
People can find us on Instagram, Wingman Kitchens. That's where we're the most active. Check us out. Check our website out, wingmankitchens.com. It's got all of our information on there, including pricing. We keep everything super transparent in what we do. If you have friends or family or acquaintances that are looking to start a food business, please send them our way. And then yeah, the things that we're looking forward to, we're doing a lot more client showcasing on our social medias. So go and check that out and support them. That's the more you support them, the more they're spending at our place, and the more they can grow to hopefully get out of our place. And that's always what we're trying to push.
Cool. All right, Max, this has been an incredible conversation. Thank you for being so open with me and today and the way you think about, building this business and those lessons and the way you're growing, every business owner needs to hear, out these lessons and how to learn from them because like at the end of the day, like you're going to go through when you're building a business, you're going to hit all these obstacles and these obstacles are going to, they're going to be very challenging. So it just saves people a lot of money. So, to everyone tuning in, thank you for being here. If this resonated with you, share it with a business owner in your life who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep pushing forward in faith, fitness, family, and business. Max, really appreciate you. This is a great one.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate you.